Hello, I am Thomas. I'm 20 years old. I work for Charles River and I am currently doing the level 5 Applied Biosciences degree at the University of Kent. The main selling point, of course, I think is getting that kind of extra work experience on top of your study, because after you get out of university you might not have a full kind of basis, which is what that apprenticeship I think fills in for you. The apprenticeship was fine for me to just kind of get into a job, kind of get settled and get something going. I used a few different sites, but the Gov site I found has been the best to find apprenticeships. And looking through there at the time, I wasn't 100% on what I wanted to do as my apprenticeship, because at A-levels I did a breadth of subjects. I did physics, biology, psychology. So I knew I wanted my degree and I knew I wanted an apprenticeship, so I was looking for anything that fit that and going through based on job descriptions and names, kind of what stood out to me. And in the end, Charles River stood out to me for the kind of the time frame and how we applied. For me at least, that kind of 6-month gap would be nice for me to just have a bit of a breather from sixth form, have a bit of a break, and I think that worked for me in the end. It was always mentioned as an option, but I think especially where I went to a sixth form and secondary school, so a lot of people who had stayed on there had always been brought up to go to university. That was always the pathway kind of default to them and been like ingrained. They've now realised that the apprenticeships are now a lot more pushed than they were, and I think that's just kind of maybe a sign of the times, or a sign of just trying to change in mentalities, that now it's even maybe more pushed in some places than going the full degree route and going to university. I'm happy with what I'm getting, at least. It makes it a lot easier. I'm still living at home, so I've got a lot less kind of outgoing costs and stuff like that, which has allowed me to save up a nice little lump. My understanding of the money that I'm getting, it's pretty kind of on par to if you're working full-time in a lot of other places kind of at this age, so I don't feel at a disadvantage being an apprentice specifically. I think if any complaints about money come up for people, it's generally probably the age that we're at rather than the apprenticeship itself. I like to credit myself on getting a few of my friends on apprenticeships as well, because I started a bit before then and now they've all found apprenticeships and they've been successful in getting into those and enjoying that. A lot of my other friends who have gone to university, I think there are pros and cons, and I know they're happy with what they're doing, and that's what they wanted to do at the end of the day. So I don't think there's any kind of jealousy between anyone. I think everyone's got in the right place at the end of the day, but I definitely am happy with being on an apprenticeship, yeah. Initially I applied, as mentioned, through the Gov site, and then I think there was like a recorded interview effectively, so it was like you'd have a question and then record your response to that. And then we had a larger in-person interview, which was going on site, looking around, having our tour of the lab. Along with that, we had individual interviews with like a screen of people that we'd be working with, as well as a group task. Especially from one-to-one interviews, you can get quite a lot out of it, but with that kind of group dynamic and seeing how someone's going to work with others, I think is probably really important as well, and an interesting part of the interview.